interlocking conditions and division line centers. Each center comes into that track line system here. So in position, trying to understand that you guys getting notifications through my live right now. It's high forcing its positions here. It says it's going live, but I want to make sure that it's on the channel line condition. Interesting. Usually it goes live. It says it's going to go live through its representation. Right? So it's going live now in position. See, it's got YouTube's got a whole new platform. So that's interesting. So I'm just catching on, making sure that you guys get your notifications before I go live. That's the importance, right? Other than that, I've been very, very busy. A lot of things are happening right now. We all go through a lot of rough patches, and we always go through high positions of interference. I sent you guys a very powerful video on TikTok, 3 minutes talking about the hard central line system. It's blooming to a new line system. So it's all about understanding the heart line system is allocated positions. Okay, so you come into a three-dimensional line system. It's all about growing a flower, okay, which is connected to your tree of life. So trying to understand that the flower recognition line condition has to be the time, position, location. The central line conditions of our system is now into a new line system of a computer operation line connection, which means that everybody's coming into a new matrix lock. Okay, the central line system is set up the alpha waves and the mega waves and the communications of the thetas and betas. It's an instinct line condition interference, so it's changed line conditions to its location center. Understanding the conditions of simulation, how it's set up to your own virtual reality position locations. It's incredible when we come across these things through time position. But I tell you exactly what's going on with that connections. 3 minutes talking about the heart central and what it is through the hydraulics. It's the most powerful electrical organ in the position of the gravity line center of you through positions. Now, everything in the travel line recognition of time position, that's a tree to understand your shape, position, locations. Once you understand what the heart is, you understand how powerful it is. Remember, it's going through cycles and spinning, spinning, spinning. Well, now it's coming into a new matrix lock. So basically, I'll set up an illustration to exactly that the actual heart itself of humanity is in a new matrix position location. All right, you were in that three-dimensional line system. That's all gone. The matrix 2.0, that's finished. That's out. Now we're into a calculation modifications of 0 point. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? Portal line connections, 4 track line connection positions. You put that in high positions, okay, to the 4-point centers, 5 within the system, okay, the alpha, mega, micro, macro. So I really want to get into that and tell you exactly what's going on with the connection with the heart and how powerful it is to the electrical lights and everything through its plasma interference. We all have to understand how to use a heart system, okay? So before I get started, thank all subscribers and viewers and watch my channel, Keep Force Riding, Grand Rising. I've been extremely, extremely busy in high-level systems. I woke up with eyes, right, tearing, which means that my heart is up into a higher level now. It's going to, I mean everything through connection, space and time position, but my heart is centralizing its other side connections, which basically has to understand its connections to its community system, so I can get full rotation line centers to everybody's to its matrix lock system. So everybody's calculated and modified to a new matrix maze. All right. So that formation line system, so it's kind of like a crossword puzzle. It's kind of like you have those mazes, you go from one here, you go back, and there you go, there's that door, you go that door. Well, that's where we're coming in. The central line conditions and everything has to be set into its cortex. New dream set line is connected to the sun. And everything through the moon program is already set up to the central line conditions of the earth. And the earth is its connection to its power system. Okay. The central line system of the heart has already gone through its cycles. Now it's coming into a new box. And that box is the matrix. Okay. So that's where everybody's coming into. It's really exciting when we come into this. Everything's done through change of time. Space is allowing everybody to get into their own matrix of 5D. You're in a 3D matrix, now you're in a 5D matrix. I told you this before, and I'll tell you again. Everything I give you is in chronological order of what's going on with the future to the present to the past. That's why it's so powerful. But as long as you centralize your system and realize the matrix is inside your positions, you know how to go through the maze. Now, if you have a problem through that sector line connections, I can help you out and set you a platform through healing, right? But it's kind of like cheating your way through life. You don't want to do that. You actually want to know what the maze is when it comes into new major lock. It's a blooming system. It's all up at the heart coming into its flower of life. That's what's happening right now with everybody. So we have to climb those stems before we go into the central of its communication. I did a very powerful video way back when I'm going through spiritual growth and how planets are connected to the 8 central line system. The teleportation line connections, you turn it into a flower. That's how it's created through a planet line. So it's amazing how planets are made in space-time positions. So everybody's coming into new major positions of themselves, okay, which is their own virtual reality of its creation. Okay, so I know we have test review and evaluation coming up, right? So we'll do the review on that, but I really want to get into the heart central, really understand how powerful it is when you come into these positions of time and location, especially now. Also, too, I want to bring to everybody's attention is that basically when somebody's going through healing line center, if you're going through your own meditations, let's say you're going through lines portal, okay, basically it's over, but it's never really over. It's always moving forward. So you think it's over, but it's not. So you have to be cautious in what you do on where you go into connections. You're reiterating your connection position to its line system. If you're going through a portal defense line system, you're opening a track door connections to a negative cycle to a portal line system. Somebody did that through calculation, and basically this person was trying to get into the healing line system. So there was a negative empty line system that was attached to this person. So basically I had to close the portal first. So it's all understanding how powerful you can be through meditation. But if you keep that portal open, it's going to change your light conditions to everything you grab line system. Okay. So it's important that you understand you get into the right way of meditating. Okay, meditating is that line system. When you meditate, you open and close your portals. Basic understanding, right? And you also always put your positive centers in the center line system, especially now. Okay, so everybody's going to go through a rough patch, okay, because they have to understand what's going on with the heart and what it's doing through the changing line system. So you're coming into your alpha waves, mega waves, betas, thetas, okay? The micro level connection, position log connections, truly understand what the heart is. It's everything through its defense and security line system. You have to truly understand how to travel through it, right? Now, when you come across that, the heart does travel, but the positions of the realm location is the third eye traction, okay? Everything through the soul direction line system is the yin and yang. That's the flowing recognition of time positions. So you got the streamlined center of the fish, this way and this way. One up, one down. So it has to go in its flowing recognition line center. That's what it has to do. Okay. Some people are going like this. Some people are going like this. Some of the fish have jumped out. So you got to bring the fish back into the water line system, right? This is all put in positions when you come into your air, your fire, earth. Okay. Very important to understand these things. Very important to understand what's going on. Okay. With the 4 waving cycles. Okay. The air, the fire. Air and fire is most important. Okay. The fire you have inside you, and how you have the water inside you, and how you have the earth inside you. You all have to know how to use these 4. 5 within the system, 6 the activation, and 7 within the body, right? And then 5 within the atmosphere. So it all goes to this position, but it's all calculated to its system when it comes into the heart central. Okay, so we really have to understand what it is to the square of its connections. All right, so I'm going to draw out the illustration. Questions or comments, go through my healing, let me know. All right, hope everybody's doing well. So I'll be getting ready. I'll be leaving Monday, probably Monday morning, because avoiding traffic when it comes into Acapulco. So 4 days, 3 nights. I'm really excited. I will set up communications to TikTok going live. It's going to be a lot of fun. I need a break, just like everybody else needs a break. So other than that, today is Thursday. We have Friday, and then you guys have the weekend. And then basically when I come back, we'll go through one more test review and evaluations, and then we'll get into the test. Okay, so basically, it's all about understanding what it is through square reference. Remember I was saying about what you see in a square, right? Everybody comes across these things. This is a true understanding how you have to put yourself in these positions. All right? Okay, so you come into your squares, right? Here's the square. All right, now we're going to the cube line center. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on through position line conditions and inference channel line systems. It's allocated positions of time, location. I'm going to show you exactly what it is of where everybody's coming across. Okay, now the Earth line center is going to be in the center position location. So it's all connected to your navigation light centers. Okay, so let's say we got the Earth line system. Its graph its conditions when you come to the illustrations. Okay, so the Earth is in this position, like this in calculation. Got a lot of bit interference here, channel line interference channels. It's going to go back in location. Unstable, but it will find a way to get back. Because I'm in a very high position right now, it's the calculation. All right, so that's the Earth line center. Okay, you guys in the center of dot position location, always in the center positions. Now you're coming into high positions of your point centers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7 within the body. So everybody's coming in a new track line of a new body activation to an attachment agreement. The policy line system to the allocated position of time location is going to energize your heart system in the cycle line systems, which is going to put you guys into your major block communication to your maze positions. Okay, so that's where everybody's coming into as a new heart. Okay, so the central line systems are division line system like this through equation systems. All right, so once it comes into that position, it's going to line channel its connections and it's going to surf its position to higher position line centers. So it's going to get to know the atmospheres of new time position location. It's going to center line conditions to heart line center position location. So you got a little bit more stability here. So I'm going to centralize down, okay, because the vibrations are way too high. And my computer is in a high position line center. It's always in conditions of notification of friction or in that connection. So that's what's happening right now, okay? But this is in a matrix. This is the Earth line center. You guys in the center positions. It's all about you coming out of your traction positions of your equations and coming out of its maze, of its division, okay? That's what's happening with everybody right now. So we all have to understand our calculations, right? When it comes into the alpha waves, micro, mega. It doesn't matter. Everything line communicates, right? Alpha, mega, micro, macro. Alpha, mega, micro, macro. Okay? 3 waving line systems comes into its triangle line system to its location. Okay, the alpha wave line system to its calculation, right? It centers all communication line signals to its activation core position. So to truly understand that, we all have to understand how to get out of this maze, right? It's a graphing line conditions to all levels of the heart system. Now it still has to identify everything through its locking system. Okay, so it's kind of like a maze. All right, so you're going to go through a maze to understand what's going on. All right, you go from here, goes down here like this. So, and this is all done through thought positions, right? Calculates and modifies locations. Okay. So you have to try to figure out what's going on with the calculation modification of the heart line center. Okay. So it's all about going from here to here, going from here, going from here. You know, you're just trying to find your way out. That's all you're trying to do, right? So it's all about understanding what the heart is to the central line system. Now it's allocated positions, but we're coming into the bloom. Okay, slash flower. Okay, that's the flower of life. You have the tree of life, right? Oh, look at that. Wow. Okay. So it's all allocated positions of time location to understand what it is through positions. The most important thing is to understand everything is happening in that equation. Okay. So it's incredible when I see these things through traction. It's all set up through position. So we all have to understand how to use our shape conditions and how to get out of these mazes of ourself. Right? You had a 3-dimensional line system. You had a major lock conditions. You have energy light system positions. You have electrical lights. You have door recognition time position locations. You don't have to worry about your codes or anything that allocated position. There's a new major line center. It's in its allocated position of dimensional portals. You just have to truly understand how to get out of the maze position. That's all it is. Okay. It's trying to understand reframe positions to an anagram and how you put words into frame. Okay. So it wouldn't be ATOM. Okay. It'd probably be AOTM. Putting everything back in order. So once you do that through positions, everything comes out of the equation, and then you start recentering your positions. So this is about changing the mind collaboration line center back into positions to a new gravity line system, two calculations, put you into the positive center, okay, to its future relation. Positive center is future relation, okay? We all have to understand the cycle line center, two position locations, and we always have to go forward, right, in that line conditions, right? So that's what's happening with the heart now, okay? New matrix blooming line center is in calculation. So we're coming into a new heart line system to its positions. It's all set up through its plasma interference. It has its matrix cube line center connections, and it's in its 7 location point centers, okay? And what's in the center? 8. Right? Your position on the connections is 8 central line systems. So you're coming into your teleportation of mind telepathy of 8. Okay? So trying to understand what's going on through positions, I'll just show you exactly what it is through calculation. We start off with this line conditions, right? The 8's in the center, right? So it's all about understanding what the 8 is. See how it's forming? See how it's forming? So the heart line center is going to change positions of location. That's what is happening right now. It looks like windmill, right? The heart line center is going to higher positions at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Allocate to 7. 7 within the center of the system opens up its dimensional time. Circles in rotation to its calculation modifications going forward. Right? So once that goes out of the equation, line system, the flower comes out of its line system. Okay. To its track line center, to its position, to its tetrahedron line conditions. Okay, from that to that. So once it comes out of that track line system, you come into mind/telepathy. Okay. So there's a lot that we need to learn. We have to concentrate more of ourselves, really focus on ourselves. And that's what I'm saying. Love thyself, love thy everything of thyself, love thy enemy, love thy friend. Right? That's what we have into. And that's what the heart's doing. The heart's coming into its position of flower of life, of mind telepathy. Okay? But you all have to understand the communications first, right? Where it centralized its system. So the thing is, too, is that everybody's been living in the matrix in 3D, but now we're in the matrix of 5D. It's really exciting. It's exciting times we're coming into. But we all have to understand our rewordings of our positive systems. Okay? Right? How to put everything back in position. Remember I was telling you how important it is to understand how not to just go forward in life, but also go back. You have to understand how to count from 1 to 10 and then from 10 to 1. That's the importance you have to understand. Right? You have to understand your frame positions and how to go forward and how to go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy, done, quick, right? Fast. You don't have to think about it. It's already in that calculation modifications. So that's the connections, what's happening right now through all levels of the flower connections of the heart central line system. Okay? So you come into the all level systems of the alpha, mega, micro, and macro. Okay? So it's really powerful when we see these things. It's important to understand how to use this. So when you're coming into the Heartline Center, it's going to show you what to do through your travels. Okay? And how to travel through the alphas and omegas and micros and macros. Right? So it's all about understanding coming into good times, bad times, truly knowing what you're doing through your travel location of time. Okay, the locations, your standard points, your positive positions, your negative systems, how to use this, how to use that, how not to use this, how not to use that, when to use this, when to use that. Right? I have to channel down through vibration because I don't have any more to start positions. But it's important you understand what's going on at that tri-line center. Now I'm already in 20 minutes already, just talking about the heart. So let's get into the central line system. Let's get into your platform 0369 location. Okay. Now we got into that position, right? Understanding how to get out of equations, right? So pretty soon you'll be able to do this without even seeing everything because it's already done through the equation. The more you high rise, this is the true understanding. I keep saying this and I'll keep saying this over and over and over. When you live at a certain vibration, you're in that reality of the same position that you guys are in. So it means that You're at a lower vibration, but you're on the central line system of the earth. I'm on a higher vibration, but still on the central line system of you, just at a higher vibration. When you're at a higher vibration, you see things in reality different. Okay, inside the system. That's how you're able to calculate and modify anything that comes out of the equation line system to its division. Okay, so it's interesting how you can go into forward connections. Okay, you can downshift connections. You can basically crosswind sector line connections, or you can interchange positions in higher level system location just through that position, right? And it's all about understanding your security line defense. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? And then you come into the equations of your satellites. Okay? So it's truly understanding why you're in this position of the heart. What is the heart? Heart is everything through the electrical light of its connection of its organ. It's an electrical light device. Okay? Really powerful when you come in these positions. All right? So the central line system is like this. Okay? Earth line center. Okay? Now it's pretty interesting how I do these things through perception. This is me through position. This is what I did. I'll show you guys. I opened up the line condition interference to a center line system like this to allocated. Now I opened up the central line system and electrical lights, all right, all around the earth line center. That's what I did. Okay. Now that opens up all track line centers and puts you guys into your positions of the tesseract to its tetrahedrons of a new Rubik's Cube line condition interference. Okay. So when it comes into its point centers, right, these track lines is 3, 6, and 9 platforms, right? Okay. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the system. Okay, so that's what's happening right now with the calculations. And once you do that, you take it out of the equation, right, in this position. Okay. That gives you a better understanding of what's going on. But this is what I do, right? Everything I do is already created. It's already done through the Wi-Fi's. It's already done through the satellite connections. So it's true understanding that everything is set up in chronological order. If everything wasn't set up in chronological order, it'd be very confusing for humanity to understand what's going on with the past, present, and future. So it's all about putting your thoughts in position to location, right? To really understand that everything that you do has to be in sequence of graph positions of its compilation line system. Okay, has to be in chronological order. You start from here and all the way. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we all have to understand to do these things first, because the heart has to understand what's going on through the graph line systems of youth and calculations, right? And you can take things out of its equation to its dimension. Okay, it's all about central line systems. So it comes back in its equation and it goes into the center box location. Okay, and it does it again. See how it's filling up the gap centers of its round location. Now, what this does is every time I use a round location, I'm using a different computer line system. Sometimes I use one computer to communicate with this, depending on how many frame positions I have in location. So this interline systems, this is lacing lines, okay, through electrical lights of a panel line system of glasses, or it could be laser direction line system to an optical level, GPS location and interference. So it depends on what round line connection I'm using through compilation to one program position locations. But I'm filling in all central line systems to one compilation simultaneously all at once. That comes into its graph / image. Okay. So this is the true understanding how you use the heart system. The heart has to understand you through calculation through its portal line system. You all have to get out of your old hearts and come into your new heart position. Same with your body graphs, same with the computer lines, same with your space bars, same with your keyframes, key ejected line system. It's allocated position to so many subjective line systems. So once you come into your computers, you come into higher formation lights of communication. Right? How to use your space bars. Everybody knows how to use the computers. So it's all about the connections of wires and how to activate line connections to the alpha, mega, and micro, macro to its position location, right? So you have to know what it is. Everybody knows what a computer is. You just have to understand how to use it through your flash drives. Okay, it all calculates and all that positions, right? But it's trying to understand how to use your 369 platforms first, right? And always in forms, right? So you come into the point centers and what it is, 369. You got into this before, right? And then you come into your activations. You have to come into your activations, okay? And then you got to come into your own calculation modifications, okay? Because your metrical line connections to your mobile units or anything position is different from mine. But you all have to start with your 369 so you can create your travels of your GODs, right? GODs of the sun, GODs programs of the moon, and GODs of navigation line center to center positions location. Center lines its location, take its out of its equation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-dimensional time locations, right? Now, if you want to go higher levels, this is what you have to do. This is what you understand what the test, review, and evaluation is. It's pretty simple to do these things if you understand the platforms of 369 location. This is all done through the alpha, mega, micro, macro. So that's where it comes into alpha, mega, micro, macro. Let's do the coloration graph line system. Alpha, mega, micro, macro. And there you go. Right? Understand now? So you got your activation line center, 369 position. At the top, signal line connections. Okay. Now when you come into that positions, you come into your square reference position location. Okay. You come into your circle line center. You come into your dimensional time security line defense. Okay. You come into your diamond core position location. Okay. So you can also go to a higher level position location. Okay. There's a lot of things that you can do through 369 platforms. So I just want you guys to really understand how you have to use your new activations of your new heart system. Okay. You have the alpha, mega, micro, macro, the alpha waves, the mega waves. Okay. All that connections, the thetas and the betas, right? Because these are all sound tones. It's all connected to all levels of vibration. Okay, let's say you got 4 waving cycles of vibration. So your body graph line system. Which one are you going to use? This is that before, right? This is interesting how this goes from here and down, but there's a space. There's a space here missing, right? So it's separated. So it needs to be healed. Everything through vibration can split. It can split and it will, so it sparks, right? It sparks. It has its detachments. So you have to find a way to put it back in position so it can go in the line center of its connections. So to understand your positive centers, you got to go into the waving system, going forward, okay, and not going back. Okay, so once you understand that system, it comes into calculation modifications going forward, circle rotations, okay, and that's how the universal line system works, is going forward through vibration, not going back. It only goes back until it understands what it is through calculation through your positions of the grounds, the powers, the atmospheres. There's so many levels of atmospheres you have to understand through track line system. If you're coming into vibrations and you have a split or anything through separation, you got to put it back in conditions. You cannot travel. There's separation here, guys. You can't travel. You can travel here, but this is changing your graph. This is changing your human emotion, right? This is changing your defense position, right? So you have to be in this position and go forward in conditions, right? So when you go into that conditions, this is what you do through the compilation line center to your graph position locations. Okay, this is what it is. Starts off that position, right? So you're supposed to do this, like that. Okay. So that's a true understanding where you're flowing through vibration, and it doesn't matter if it goes forward and back because you have your alignments of past, present, and future. Okay? They're all in line sequence, so there's no separation there. But if you change separation line system like this, it erases everything through positions. Like this, like this. You cannot travel. You can't travel. How can you travel? This is understanding what's happening with vibrations. Now, this is really, really important to understand these things because it's all connected to your multitude level system, your behavior line system, the alphabetical line system. But if the vibrations are traveling and there's a space here, how are you going to go from here to here? You have to put it back in line signal, and you have to be in the present location, right? Present location. Okay, so once it goes into present location, you go back into line connection, right? Like that, right? And it goes, there you go. Okay. Same thing with the connections here. You connect with that, line signals. You kick with that, line signals. Now you're back in equation because you're in the positive of the center position of you, which is the presence of now going forward, right? So it's interesting, isn't it? When you understand the conditions of vibration, how it connects all line systems. But we all have to truly understand how to travel through direction of time first, right? So you come into these positions, okay, truly understand how you use your alpha, omegas, and micro macros. So I'm giving you exactly what's going on. That's the importance, but you all understand we're coming into our mazes, okay, of 5D, to the heart lines. So we're coming into the blooming system right now, okay? That's why I sent you guys a very powerful TikTok message. Everything I give you is a message. But you understand what's happening, right? So let's get into your questions. Okay, Jill's not going to be here. That's fine. Okay, so Tina didn't get any notifications. Oops, yes, I did. Okay, so see, the thing is too is that it had an old program system, and what I did is that basically they give you a certain time, whatever you want to change to the time frame position. Always goes ahead because I'm Mexican time through that time zone. So basically, I was able to go live, but I wasn't on yet. So it's just saying that when I'm going to be on through that clocking system, right? But now they changed the platform where basically when I'm all set and ready to go, I press live and then it goes live. Okay, so it's changed its Arter inline system to YouTube position, which is okay. I just want to make sure you guys are getting notifications. That's all when I go live. That's the importance. But other than that, let's see here. Donna, all good here. Isabel's lagging. I saw something like that during meditation today. Didn't know what it is. Well, now you know what it is, Samantha. See, you're informed of this position through AI conditions, which is great. So, all right, Krista, you guys have any questions or comments on that? We really have to get into the central line system of the ballooning line system of the matrix of the heart. Okay. You have to understand what the heart is. Everything inside your body is intelligence. You have to understand the operation to its intelligence because it's all connected. It's going to go back in traction. This is what happens when I high force connections to my molecular light structure and change the computer operation lines into synchronous position. Okay, so it's really important to understand to keep your balance, especially with your forcing grids, right? Even though I'm connecting to you, I'm also connecting to everything outside and everything up there in space, but space is inside before it goes outside. Inside, outside, then you have the balance, right? That's how you're able to do all these positions. So what the heart is doing for you, okay, is opening up a new activation, a new location, a new shape, a new dimension of time, okay, in space to understand what the heart is, okay, because the metro line centers to 3 division line system was in its existence of its matrix cube, but now we're in a matrix cube of a blooming line center coming more into the flower, okay. So that's the understanding how powerful it is when you come into the full cycle of yin and yang, the Vesica Pisces and that conditions, right? We all have to come into the female and the masculinity. It's the hemispheres that we have to get connected with, guys. It all connects through emotions and emotions when it comes into human residence. How to use your emotions with yourself. It's about keeping the calmness, the tranquility, the serenity. Right? That is the importance that we have to put across here. And it's affecting our hearts as soon as we change anything through a waving system. Okay, if I get upset, my heart's gonna right? So how am I gonna bring it down? I have to change my thought, right? Now it's back in center. You understand? So it's all about understanding the fluctuation and interference on what the heart wants. Same thing with the soul, what the soul needs, what it wants to do. Same with the eyes and your directions to your GPS. Same with your ears through its connection of listening, and your voicing patterns, how you have that voice of command and what you can do inside, because the vibration hums inside you. Okay, it's a vibration. It's just, and that's where you guys should know. You should know exactly what the interline conditions of your phone is. What's the sound of your phone? What's the sound of water? What's the sound of my iPad? What's the sound of my marker? Everything is vibration. Everything is structured through an atom position, but it's simultaneously on one line system. So basically, there's no separation with anything. The whole point that I'm trying to get across here is understand that your solar generation lights and your heart system has to truly understand its calculation modification to its new matrix. That's the blooming center that we're coming into to your new computer operation line system, which is going to put everybody into their own virtual reality of creation. Okay? So if I'm channeling position, I'm going straight in compilation. I see everything through size graph line system. I see everything inside, right? So I go boom. That's it, right to the heart, right? So I went from the water to the computer to the phone to the iPad and everything around me all in one center, simultaneously all at once. Okay? There's no, it's like saying with the body graph where it has to keep going around. But once it has separation, you have to get back in the center line conditions. So the heart is telling you to what? To move forward, right? Because if you change your motion and your graph, it affects everything through your positions of your barometers. Okay, now that's a checking point. Now the checking point is to truly understand what it is through location of division, right? We come into these line centers. Okay. All right. So we got into the conditions of Wi-Fi and everything's satellite system, right? It's allocated position of time location. So all intelligence should know exactly where their satellite positions are. Okay. Everybody has it. You just have to know how to use it through, you guessed it, your Wi-Fi's. So we're coming into a new Wi-Fi generation light system. We're coming into new travel light conditions of 369 position. Okay. We're coming into new activation conditions of our tesseracts and travels of our tetrahedrons. Okay. So you have to understand your point centers, right, of its connection. Right? And then you have the alphas, megas, micros, and macros. All right. So does it understand you have that calculation modifications? It's important you understand these things, right? Because it's all connected to the heart. So you got the mind, you got the body, you got the heart, you got the soul. Okay. Mind, body, heart, and soul. Okay. So it's MB. Okay. Or it's soul. All right. Now, what's the center? What's the center of the mind, body, heart, and soul? What's the center of the activation? The brain. Now, you have to understand how it's calculated and modified. Mind is the most powerful through creation and imagination, but it's the brain setting it, which is the center point of everything, of dimensional time position. It has to, because you're living in a physical system, right? So the brain stays there in position. It's that the mind, body, heart, and soul comes out of this equation. Now, once it gets to heart systems, okay, the body goes into the center line system and stays there, right? Once the body comes out, now anything to that position, the mind, the heart, and the soul travel farther into positions of location. Okay, so the mind, heart, and soul is out, but the body is there in the center with the brain. And that's where I live. I live in the mind, the heart, and the soul, but my body is here. That's through the mind. You can do anything through the mind, you can do anything through the heart, and you can do anything through the soul, right? So the track line center is everything in the calibration line system. The mind is everything through its creation of its imagination. How much of imagination did you have with your thoughts? And it's all modified with your Wi-Fi and your providers, your central line connections, your central line position locations. You have to truly understand how to use the mind, the heart, and the soul. The body is always there. The brain is always in the center, right? Has to. Okay, so this is understanding more higher levels, right? The mind is everything through creation, which is 90%, right? 90%. Okay, and the body, okay, is the 10%. Okay, so it's to understand that once you get the 90% position, the mind, the heart, and the soul, it goes over traction, right? So you can go to higher level systems, and that's how I went from basically all calculation modifications to 1,000 into the spiritual line conditions, because I went right into the mind, to the heart and the soul. This is understanding where I started off when I was a kid. I started meditating, right? And then everything started making sense when I saw everything calculation to my cosmic level. Then it came into the mescal line system, to its phenomenal line conditions, through its metaphysical, physical line system, spiritual, and everything through psychological. Then I came into my twin flame, opened up position locations, then there's more of the mind system to the heart and the soul. But I knew the body was the center position, which is connected to the brain line system. Okay, so this is where we have to truly understand. The higher you go, the more you see, the more you understand what it is, because your brain's here, right? It doesn't move though. You don't see it come out, right? So anything you see out through connections is what you see through your perceptions, getting out of your illusions and getting into more of your creations of its imagination. It's the imagination that puts everything in the mind system. That's what the mind is. The mind is the imagination of thought of creation to its activation of its diagram through its illustration. Okay. The heart is everything through portal, the alpha, mega, micro, macro. It's all connected. It's all about countermeasuring what you want to achieve through that connection. It's all about balancing everything out to atmospheres of time, location of space. Okay. Especially when you come into your dream lines, because that's what the center line system is in right now. It's in a new dream line, and the program positions of the moon is in a new program of its activation. The sun and the moon operates all positions to your heart system, but the sun and the moon operates everything through your body system, right? So your body and the brain stay in position of center. The mind, heart, and soul leaves. Okay? Mind, heart, and soul. So it becomes its own track line center to position to a new allocated position of a geometry line system. Mind, heart, and soul. All right? But you are in the center. Now, this is extremely high rise. This is very, very high rise, right? But see, the mind is connected to the sun, okay? The mind is connected to the soul, okay? And the mind is connected to the heart. All right? Same with the connections. We come to your senses. You have to know all your senses, okay, of space and time position. Okay? So when you come into that positions, everything through the heart is all senses, everything through the mind is all senses, and everything through the soul is all senses. And everything through the activation line center is position of dimensional time position, which is the connections to the body and the brain. So the brain stays in the center, right? And the body goes in position, right? There's the triangle. All right. So what do we got here? Oh, this is interesting. It looks like a tree. Because it is. See? This is your tree. There's the base, there's the tree. And then you got the bloom. Okay? So this is a higher equation. Very high. So this is where I'm at through positions. You guys have to start with your positions first. How to understand 50/chakra systems. All right, so it's 50 lines of activation. Okay. This is you. Okay. Through activation, through location. All right. You always have to have a location. You always have to have an activation. You always have to find your position of the center line system of you in the center position. So what happens in that position? You are in system of the brain line system of communication, right? And again, it becomes a triangle. Okay. So this is what you get through the connections of slash communications of 50 chakras. Okay. Now, basically, you can point out all locations, but it's really understanding when you're coming to the reviews of 3, 6, and 9, you already know how to do it. There's no question in your mind you know how to do these things. Okay. So you have to understand these things because it's important, but the center of you never leaves. Okay. Which is the body of the connections, the body of the brain. Okay. The central line systems of the sun, central line systems of the moon, and central line systems of its location. Okay. And then you come into your positions of your tetrahedrons, calculation modifications, right? So there's all different ways and how to do this through the mind, body, and soul. Okay. And then you come into the mind, body, soul, and then you come into the heart. Right? So you're working your way up every single time. It's the mind, body, and soul. And then you understand the heart line system is everything. It activates everything through your essential line systems of dimensional time conditions. It goes loop-de-loop to all dimensional line condition interference to its position. So it travels recognition of time locations. Okay, but everything in the center line system goes through its position. Okay, now you can go from this position and go back into higher position like conditions at dimensional time positions. But this is all done through the mind, the heart, and the soul of traction. Then you can go back into this equation. So this is like loop-de-loop. Okay, it's pretty fast in how you go from one position to the other location. So you're going this way, but you're coming back this way. So the more you go into the mind, the more you go into the heart, the more you go into the soul, the more you understand the position of the center line connections to the body and the brain and what it is. Because the body and the brain doesn't leave. It's just the mind, heart, and soul. So I wanted to show you where I'm at. So you get a true understanding what the mind is, the creation. It's all done through your imaginations. Okay? And it's all done through your thoughts. Your thoughts always have to be going forward every single day. Thoughts always going forward. Forward in time. Okay? Then you take it out. See? Letters and numbers, shapes, everything through allocate positions. There's a triangle. And again, UFO. See? Then you come into sonar. Right? So it's true understanding what you're seeing through everything. It's like the abstract drawing that connections. But I keep doing this over and over every single day, and I'll show you something different on so many platforms and how you can travel through 3, 6, and 9 position. Okay? You just have to truly understand how to do these things, right? So you start with, what do you start with? The mind, the body, and the soul, right? So the center line of you never leaves. Okay, so you get into 3, 6, and 9. See how many different platforms I can set up and positions? It's amazing how it comes out of the equation, right? Okay, there's an angel. I can central line systems and put it into an archangel. Back into position. There's a lot of interference changing here, guys. All right, so we come into the connections of 3, 6, 9 position. Now it's here. So the 3 is here, okay? The 6 is here, and the 9 is here. What's this? What have we got here? The flux capacitor. Ah, electrical light system, allocate position and time location. There you go, right? It's amazing how you do these things all through an equation, all through the mind, the heart, and the soul, right? So when the mind and heart and soul leaves, they know exactly where the body is because it stays in position, which is always in the center of its positive, of the here and now. Okay? So it's understanding. I want you to show you where I'm at through that position so you guys can get into that equation, the flux capacitor. And it comes into its coil, right? So that's what it is. Okay? If you have any questions or comments, let me know. But it's important you guys understand these things. All right. Let's get into your questions here. I know it's freezing, some interference. I know. Intuitive did the upside down triangle through 369 travel. I've never done that way before. It's very weird. Yeah. So you have to understand the clocking system of the shape, Samantha, how it goes around and around faster and faster. And it's all connected to your flux capacitors. Okay. So, all right, let's see here. Donna, how's it going? Learning so much. I agree. This is very good class today. So much knowledge. Every day is amazing in class, of course. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You guys are learning more, but you understand what is happening to the heart now. What is happening to the mind? What is happening to the brain? What is happening to your ears? What is happening to your body? What is happening to your gravity? What is happening to your activation? What is happening outside? It's all done in chronological order, a sequence. But you truly have to understand what the flux capacitor is. It's everything through travel. Okay. So, and the thing is, too, you have to get in your digital clock system. So you have a 369 platform. You start with that position, right? And then we go from this position, and we go from this position, okay? And we go from this position. Let's go into black. So we got 3, we got 6. So we start with that, right? Now, as soon as you change positions, it goes over here to that location. See how it's turning? So when it keeps turning, right? See what's happening? See how it's scrambled? So it's all about understanding the travel action of time positions. You start with 3-point center line conditions, interference channel conditions. Okay, you start with this, and then it changes its position of time over time, right? Which comes into your clocking of your 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're in that position here. 11, 12. Okay? It's a clocking system if you understand 3 shapes, and it's all connected to your body graph through emotion through your human resonance. But truly understand how to use your 369 platforms. Okay? Every time you travel. Okay? So you guys are calculated and modified through your positions. You come into the mind, the body, and the soul. You start off with that, right? So the equation, position, location comes out as the connections. Then you come into the body of the brain position, which is the center line system. That opens up dimensional line conditions of interference. Okay? So this stays in the center line system. Like that. Okay? So all that comes into one. Okay? So we go into this position. All right? So the body goes over here. And it goes over here. Okay? So it's going from here to here to here. And it's coming in. So it's coming into the center. So the body and the brain comes into one. Now, once it goes into the center line system, you can travel anywhere through the mind, the heart, and the soul. Now, what is the mind? What is the heart? And what is the soul? What is it? What is the mind? What is the heart? And what is the soul? Everything through the past, the present, and the future. Heart stays in the center. Why is it on the left side and not the right side? Okay, why? There's reasons why everything is in position line conditions. Okay. It's father rotation line center to birth line conditions of space and time position. That's why it's on the left side, right? Left side, the two communications of father, right side of the communications of mother. Earth rotation line center. Earth rotation, our center, absolute position of time location to your interview position location. Line signals to its 369 location to its diamond core position location. Comes into higher levels of your activation light system to your tetrahedron line conditions interference channels. Okay. Now, where's the conditions? Right here in the center, right? So that's center's line conditions to the earth line center position. Okay. Center to, you guessed it, the flux capacitor. So the mind, the heart, and the soul has its connections. Orion's. Wow. Now, isn't that powerful? Now use the coil resistant line interference. Okay. And there you go. Flux capacitor, mind, heart, and soul. So the body's in the center line system, which is you on the earth. Hey, the earth line. Whoa, there you go. Now you understand why you're in the center all the time? There's a little bit of stability here. Okay, so it's understanding you're passing the lunar surface, which is the moon. Calculation modified to your TV reception line system, which is the sun. But everything through Orion's belt is the mind, the heart, and the soul, which track line centers to gateways, right? Which is allocated positions to, you guessed it, the sun. Oh, interesting. And the program line connection is everything through the interference channel line systems to the moon. Okay? So it's pretty interesting. We come across these things, right? You start with that. Mind, body, and soul, right? So you have to truly understand how we are in position of always in the center line system, okay, which is the earth through the flux capacitors, right? So now you know what the Orion's belt is through gateways. The Orion's belt is your gateway positions of past, present, and future. Now the dreamline set, if you look closely at your spine, you understand at the back of your back, it is a flux capacitor. We made a graph line center to its shape position to its spine positions. So it's got two graph line center positions. This is what your spine looks like. Here's your shoulder blades. There you go. Oh, what have we got here? We got the Orion's belt. Oh, electrical lights coming down the spine position. There's your spine, and here's your tail. Now you're understanding how to connect through the placebos in the cortex. So now you understand why you're so connected to everything, space and time, right? It's incredible force why it's calculated and modified, how it created that through connections of lights and how it positions everything through the constellation, right? How everything is in position locations and how the spine is set up to its flux capacitor location. It's powerful, isn't it? All right. So if you turn around and look in the mirror and you see your back, you see the flux capacitor. You see the shoulder blades goes like this. And the two graph lines, you got the bones. And you got the tail in the center. At the tip, that's a signal. D, D, D. Sets at the signal. You got the connections of the placebos and the cortex, and you got everything through all levels of your lobes, right? So you got two central lobes. You got one top position line here, okay, which interlines systems into the center line connections to your third eye position. Okay, so you got one here at the back, which senses its positions. You got the satellite system to its location, and you got the spine location, which is the tail of its spin. Everything's attached to you through connection of light of travel. Wow, doesn't it? I just wanted to show you how you guys are in put positions. And everybody's calculated and modified to that positions. So you start with that connections, right? And you have to understand, look, I'll show you exactly what it is. It's pretty amazing when you see these things. All right, let's go into a different color line system. Go through this position. Okay, you just go through calculations here. Change color line centers in position. Okay. And look at that. It disappeared on me. Unbelievable. It went so fast it just spinned. It's calculated and modified. All right, so basically this is how it's set up. All right, so this is your shoulder blades. All right, like that, right? This is Ryan's belt. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is your spine. Flex capacitors in the center line system. There you go, guys. There it is. There it is. There it is. You see it? So now you know. Now you know. All right? They got to move from one place to another. It's interesting how they vortex their position graph line centers here in the instruction line system. That's pretty incredible force positions. So you have to understand what the spine is. Right? Everything is transmitting and receiving, right? So the receiver is what? What's the receiver? Right? It goes through the brain to the connections to, you guessed it, your body position. Okay? Which basically sends out signals locations, sonar location. There you go. This is your TV reception. Box level connections to your computer system. So it's amazing how we track these line systems, right? If your back is straight, the flux capacitor will not work properly. No, it can centralize off through positions, but it's all connected to your thought patterns. So, and that's understanding where you can have some people when they walk, they're like this, and they're looking down. I know why people keep looking down. It's because their spine's not adjusted, but it has to be straight up. So when you go through my healing, it just puts it back up, right? So the signal opens up, right? So, there could be a low graph line center, bones off position line center, put back in the spine location, fix the tail spin line connections, fix the graph line center. It's all two connections. So I don't know if you know this, but when I heal you guys, I fix your flux capacitors, which is connected to your tail. So it's fascinating, isn't it? It's all calibrated, okay, back to its lobes. But once you understand the central line system comes forward, it goes from here. So this is you through your projector to your projection, right? Projector to projection through the eyes, which opens up its third round, goes out, right? And it's all connected to your spine. Okay, it's all connected to the spine. But you see the flux capacitor, right? There it is. Now you know. Right? Right? Now, through positions, you understand this. What is this? Constellation path. You have it inside your body. So you're not aware of it, because everything that you do is nothing but a graph position. Space and time is inside you. It's all through a map sequence through AI position. Calculates and everything through a GPS location. So now you know. Yeah, you can backtrack the video. I just wanted to show you how powerful it is and how we're all connected to these positions and how you have to understand how to use your chakra system because it activates everything through your flux capacitors. And it's very important that you understand Orion's belt because it is connected. We created that through locations so you guys can have dreams. That dream is connected to your gateways. So if you go through your gateway interference, so your spine locations, you go into the past, you go into the present, or you go into the future. It's all connected to your spine. So if you connect to the past positions, it changes the graph line center to its off cycle. See, now it's off cycle, so I got to put it back in location, right? So you can interline connections interference. If you stay in the presence, it stays in the flux capacitor positions. It's all connected to your. If you go into the future positions, right, it merges off through position. Okay, or it loses tracks line centers and it disappears in position. Like that. Now I have to reconnect everything through position, change line connections to your past, present, and future, connect to Orion's belt and its gateway interference, and put you back in the present line center to its road graph line connections to its interference channel line system. As long as you go back in the present location of the here and now to its location, to the heart line center, I reattach position locations to interference channel line systems, right? And to this position. Ta-da! Back in order. Now, when it's back in order, in straight line center, your spine rotation comes into its coil like this, right? This is what happens. This strengthens up your spine position and you become extremely powerful through acceleration. So, and then it comes into its own E field. Oh, it's got an E field now, right? So you're protecting everything through your back. You're protecting everything through your third eye. You're protecting everything through your dreams, your gateways of past, present, and future, all done through flux capacitor positions. Ah, exciting, isn't it? Yeah, it's just turn around and look in the mirror. You'll see it. If you're at that perception, you'll see it through translucent patterns. You actually can see it if you can see it, because you guys are in 40 chakras. So it's really powerful when you see these things. And if you go way beyond that, you can see the graph. If you go way beyond that, you can see everything inside you. That's a true understanding how you come into the bio-ops, the scan position locations. So I'm going to have to rewatch class. A lot of distraction for me today. Yeah. So, how do we control our hormones, food, mind, movement to what we feel good? Yeah, just stay in your gravity line centers. Know your heart's in a different position location right now. You guys are in your matrix. You're trying to understand more positions. So you're in a higher light conditions of interference of vibration. Stay in one lysing line connections of one channel. Stay on one channel, okay, to one location. That won't change your interference patterns to anything through your flux capacitors. So it's important you stay in the here and now. And that's how it changes its movements and make you feel better. Okay? That's how you control everything in positions. Right? Because everything's attached to you inside. All right. So very powerful class, eh? Yeah, backtrack. Make sure you watch it back. We got into more reviews. Tomorrow we'll get more into review again for the test. And when I get back from Acapulco, we can basically do that. Get into the test. So if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm going to TikTok. Everybody have a fantastic day. Adios.